Hey everyone, Victor is here, and today I have a fun synthesis for you where we are starting with this beta-bromoketone, and as our target molecule we have this dicarbonyl over here. So as always, I'm going to start by looking at my starting material and my product and analyze those molecules starting with functional groups. So in my starting material I have the alkyl halide and I have a ketone. In my final product in my target molecule I have an aldehyde and I still have my ketone. An important thing that I am noticing here right away is that this ketone is left unchanged. On top of that, if I pay attention to my carbons, I see that I am going to be making a new carbon-carbon bond. Now, when it comes to the carbon-carbon bond formation, our two main synthetic strategies are going to involve the Grignard reagent or reactions of alkynes with the acetylenide or alkynide anions. In both of those cases, we would have to protect our ketone, otherwise our ketone is going to have an unwanted reaction with either of our nucleophiles. So that means that no matter what I'm going to do, my first step in my synthesis is going to be the protection of my carbonyl, and I'm going to choose a fairly classic method here by using the acetal formation. So I'm going to treat my molecule with the ethylene glycol in the presence of the tazelic acid as my catalyst, and I'm going to make the following acetal here. Now, if I want to follow up with the Grignard way, I'm going to take my molecule and I'm going to convert that into the Grignard reagent by using magnesium and THF or dry ether, which I'm going to then react with an epoxide. The thing is, here in my final product, I am going to be adding 2 carbons, and I do have a functional group on the second carbon from the place of attachment, and that just screams reactions of epoxide. So here my Grignard reagent is going to react with my epoxide, opening it like so, and after the acidic workup we are going to get the following alcohol. Now you might have noticed that my protecting group also fell off from my carbonyl over here, and that's because depending on how we do our acidic workup here, we can kill 2 birds with the same stone, and we can take our protection off at this point so we don't have to do an extra step in our synthesis. Now, the only thing that is left for us is the oxidation of our primary alcohol that I have right over here into the corresponding aldehyde, and in order to do that, I can use PCC or any other reagent that will stop at the formation of the aldehyde, so it can be PCC, PDC, or the Swern oxidation, or maybe Des-Martin periodinate. Pretty much any of those will work for us, doesn't matter which one you choose, and that gives us our target molecule. Now, as I've mentioned, we could also use alkynide anions in order to extend our chain. Well, in this case, if I'm going to go with my alkyne way, I'm going to add my 2 carbons by using this acetylenide ion over here, and this one is going to be a fairly simple SN2 reaction. So my alkyne is going to come in, kick that bromine out, do the nucleophilic attack, and as a result of this SN2 reaction, we are going to get our 2 carbon chain extension, where now my new carbon-carbon bond that I have just created is right over here. Now, from this point, we can create our aldehyde by doing a simple hydroboration oxidation reaction of an alkyne. So for my boron-containing species here, I'm going to go with this 9-BBN, then do oxidation with hydrogen peroxide in the basic media, and after we follow all the mechanistic steps and do our keto-enol tautomerism in the basic media, we are going to get our aldehyde. So now the only thing that is left for us is to deprotect our molecule, do our acetal hydrolysis, and that also gives us our target molecule. So sometimes your synthetic strategy is going to involve only one good synthetic pathway. However, on other occasions you might have multiple different opportunities to make your molecule via equally plausible synthetic pathways. Like in this case, we are going to start with the step number 1, which our protection regardless. Then if we go down the Grignard pathway, we have step number 2, step number 3, and finally step number 4, so it's a 4-step sequence. But likewise, if we were to choose our alkyne way, we start with the protecting group anyways, then we have SN2 reaction as our step number 2, hydroboration oxidation as step number 3, and then finally we had to deprotect our molecule, so again we have a 4-step process. So which pathway do you like better? Let me know in the comments. And as always, thank you for watching. If you learned something new today, remember to hit that like button, as your likes and comments really help promoting this video so more students can see them. Check out this video next, and I will see you next time.